Yes, it's another edition of Matters Arising on BCOS television, in the city of Ibadan. Yes, Matters Arising, like you know, has to do with contemporary issues. It has been discussed by eminent personalities as invited on the program, talking about politics, education, health, the agri sector, and other issues. Yes, guests, are always on the program to discuss deep into any issue that comes around these issues that I am talking about right here. Now, today, we are talking about electoral reforms. The electoral reforms, which is being saddled with, controversial circumstances now. These issues on e-transmission. I remember then that there was this issue with when the BCOS, the IREV were, introduced into the electoral system. There are so many controversies. There are so many distractions. Some people were for it, some were not for it. And to understand the controversies on electronic transmission of election results in Nigeria, I'll just go through some excerpts. But today I have in the house, right here with me, Dr. Idowu Adewumi. Yes, Dr. Idowu Adewumi is about to, join us here on the program. Honorable Dele Akinleye, yes, he's a political analyst. He's on the program with me this afternoon. Good morning, and you're welcome.
Good afternoon, my brother.
You are welcome. Yes.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, now, following the Nigerian Senate's recent review of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, February 2026, there has been debate about electronic transmission of results. Here is a neutral breakdown of the facts, current law, and key issues raised. And the goal is that, the results are counted, are recorded manually on forms, that is, for example, the EC8A at polling units. And the presiding officers announces the results at PU level and transfer them to collation centers in the manner prescribed by the commission, that is INEC. And the EU uses BCOS for voter accreditation and uploads scanned images of result sheets to the IREV portal for public viewing. And collation remains primarily manual, but electronic data can resolve disputes in practice. Yes, physical result sheets are the primary document moved up, collation levels, IREV uploads, provide real-time transparency, and it goes on and on and on. And I have this document here, yes, which states some facts. Let me just go through this a bit too. Now, key reasons for rejection. Some people are rejecting the e-transmission of the results. That is the the results that will be transmitted during the elections. After the elections. Some are for it, and of course, and just yesterday, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party in Nigeria, Peter Obi, some civil society organizations, others, they protested at the National Assembly, and they are demanding real-time transmission, yes, of election results. And 360 days notice of election, of course, and they are also demanding that they will extend the protest to 36 state houses of assembly. Now, key reasons for their rejection include some who rejected that large parts of Nigeria, especially rural and remote areas, have weak, unstable, or no mobile internet network, making reliable real-time transmission impossible. Apart from that, cybersecurity risks, infrastructure deficiencies, risk of legal disputes, and others. I think that is what I believe should first be worked on. Yes, that is my own belief here. Well, Honorable Dele Akinle, you are here, and I know you are in the know of all these things, all these issues that is coming up. Nigeria is once again at crossroads of electoral reforms ahead of the major general elections. From your perspective and your respective professional standpoint, how critical are the proposed amendments to the Electoral Act in shaping the credibility of the 2027 elections?
Thank you, the moderator. There's no big deal. We are not at the crossroads at all. Nigeria is on the right path. Mind you, we are in a developing country. And in any developing country, some things will be trial and error. They will be trying it but the issue on ground now, there's no problem. Some people just want to bring out issues out of no issue. Look, when you want to do anything, you must have considered so many things before you come out with your decision. Even inviting me here now, within your group, you must have considered so many people before you say, okay, let's invite Dele Akinle. It depends, everything depends on the information with you. So people that are now, protesting, they are just doing that based on the information with them. The National Assembly didn't reject electronic voting. They didn't. And they didn't reject real-time voting or whatever they call it.
Yes.
They didn't reject it. But they only gave all these options to INEC. For INEC to peruse it, look at the variables within to know which one to use. But people want them to compulsory real-time something, real-time electronic voting into it for INEC. How will you compulsory something for INEC? INEC is the body in charge of all these things. He has to consider a lot of things. Look, in Nigeria, we are not ripe for real-time voting because
real-time transmission.
Real-time transmission, we are not ripe for it.
Election results.
Yeah, we are not ripe for it because there is internet problem. Even you yourself, take your phone now, call somebody. You will be discussing with that fellow. Before you know, your phone is cut. When you call back, they will tell you the person is not available again. These are the issues we are facing. So if you want to look at, take e-transmission, the same problem will happen. Talk less of all these things. There are so many polling booths that doesn't even have internet, that you cannot even call or use internet from that polling booth. You have to move to another area before you get internet. There are so many villages that you have to climb tree before you get internet.
Network.
You have to climb mountain. So, are you not telling me if you want to do e-transmission in all this area, you'll be climbing tree? Or you'll be climbing mountain to get network? So, we are not ripe for this thing. Even in Oyo State here, apart from the city local governments, go to rural local government. Where did you see the internet?
You stand beside trees.
So how do you now use this thing? Those people protesting, they just want confusion. They want to confuse everybody. So at the end of the day, they will say because of this, somebody just rig. Because they didn't transmit from this place, that means they rig. And there was no network in that area. Everybody will now be going to the court. So why do you need all this wahala? Apart from internet, look, in 2019, if you could remember, when we wanted to do the presidential election, Buhari was going for second term then. Do you remember that in the early hours of the day we're supposed to vote, they postponed it for a week because INEC wanted to use server. And some people they've loaded so many things on INEC server. The result of the election that has not been conducted, they've loaded it. So even if you go for transmission, a lot of people will load another thing that doesn't tally with what with the vote they did that day. They will load another thing. This is Nigeria. They will just collect money. But the one we are using now from EC8A, you will record, they will count it, everybody will see it. All the agents, they will sign, and they will give copy to all the agents. I don't know what is wrong with that one. That we are now looking for what we cannot even achieve. Look, we have developed countries, Great Britain, US, Germany, Canada, and so many countries. They don't use this thing, no. E-transmission, they don't. Even Brazil that is using it, a lot of problem anytime they vote. They will just rush to the time. Even there was a time, I have forgotten the name of that candidate. When he lost the election, it always caused them civil war because of e-transmission. Go to Venezuela, they are using it. And it is adjudged the most corrupt place when you talk of election is because of e-transmission. Some people, because they are computer guru, they were waiting for you to approve it so that they can rig the election. They just put anything they like into it. So we are not ripe for it in Nigeria. The internet is not okay. All what we need, and we have human error here. Everybody suspects each other. So how will you now go through that?
Okay. We don't trust each other.
No, nobody trusts each other. And whether you like it or not, this computer is somebody that will now put something into it before you transmit it. How are you sure it is going to put the real figure?
You are not sure whether he is an agent of some of those unscrupulous elements.
You cannot predict Nigeria. So this time around, there's nothing bad in what the National Assembly has done. They just recommended it to INEC, for INEC to now choose if it is okay for them. But they will now want National Assembly to compulsory it for INEC. How will you compulsory something that you are not sure it will even work? You will now want National Assembly to work, to compulsory for INEC. It's not possible.
And I am sure, even if the National Assembly imposes it on INEC, and INEC uses it, and I'm sure there will be mistakes, and like you said, there will be some flaws there. And of course, when results come out, yes, tribunal will begin again. Tribunals will receive petitions, and so I am sure of that. But now, well, the National Assembly argues that it is strengthening electoral integrity. How can you say this?
How?
Yes, integrity. Well, while critics say it is preserving loopholes. You see, there's no decision you take that some people will not criticize. That is the truth. Even if they say this e-transmission must start tomorrow, some people will criticize it. If you say you are not doing it, some people will criticize it. But INEC is in the best position to know whether it has provision for it. For example, let me give you an example. I've read so many things on the internet. Some people say APC is in government, is the federal government, and they are afraid of e-transmission, and they are doing electronic membership registration. Yes, the two are not the same thing. This is membership, just to have membership data. It's different. Now, let me now tell you, we had this thing for over 4 weeks. This electronic registration for over 4 weeks. Let me be frank with you, there are so many polling units that doesn't have internet. They just write it on exercise book, go to where there is internet and record it. Even those boys in the ward that were recording this thing, the registration officer, they have a lot of problems. Because at times, during the day, you may not even get network. It was overnight, they were doing this thing. So if it is an election, we will now be waiting, we will now have an election here
go to another place before you can get internet? Or will we now tell the registration officer the presiding officer to wait till overnight before he can send it? So the internet is not okay in Nigeria. It's not okay in Nigeria. Since it is not okay in Nigeria, not every places, not every villages you can get internet. Even in the city, the things still fluctuate. So why do you now want to go into it? At the end of the day, after the election, everybody will now be rushing to the court, to the tribunal. They've re-go. That's why they can't announce it. Maybe it was network failure. But how will you prove that in court? So before any judge can now take the judgment, he will still ask for this form EC80.
Yes.
So if you know that is what the judge will ask for, why wasting your time on e-transmission? So we are not right for it. So I don't see any big deal in it. Nigeria is moving. When it is the time to use it, they will use it. But I wonder, even in the developed country, even in Canada, even in the US, even in Britain, they don't use it. So there must be a problem with it. Even Pakistan and one other country used it sometimes, they rush back. They must have seen something. So some people want us to use it in 2027, cause confusion, then we say we are not using it again. Are they looking for civil war? Let them tell us what they really want. Maybe they want to, maybe Obi and his people want Nigeria to break. Let them tell us. But fighting for e-transmission at this time, when the election is less than a year. Because whether you like it or not, at once we'll have the election by February next year. So, February or March, so you are now fighting for e.
When all necessary machinery haven't been
put in place. You are now fighting for e-transmission. Just tell us what you want. E-transmission cannot work in Nigeria. For now, it can work because of the internet and human error.
Well, do you now agree, or do you think that Nigeria's electoral challenges are more about law, implementation, or political will, which is the weakest link today?
Nigerian electoral process is not about law. It's never about law. It's just about implementing what is on ground. Okay, we had so many elections in the past that people even adjust to be one of the best. In 2015 or so, when Buhari contested against Jonathan, even without law, we had a better election. That doesn't even bring in any argument. So it depends on how you implement it. We have the law on ground already, and the law are okay. But it is just, we have problem. Everybody believe I just have to find a way of how I can become the president. Whether people like it or not, I just have to be president. So if they see any loophole, they are ready to hijack it. Like the example I gave you in 2019 election, where they've put in so many figures into INEC server, even before the election. They've declared, the article has won on the server before the election. So how do we now want to go into that? From EC8, nothing is wrong with it, if we all agree with it. When it is time that we have good internet, if you want us to try electronic transmission, no problem. But for now, all that is on ground doesn't permit it.
Now, let me just ask you, still talking, just to deviate a bit, electronic voting on your phones, can it work?
It's all the same. For now, it can work. It can work. It is the same problem. Internet problem, human error.
Yes.
The two are there. In Nigeria of today, the two are there. Even you can't trust the presiding officer because he is a human being. He's a political animal. You don't know who, even in his mind, you don't know who he wants to win as president. He may be backing somebody. So when you now say electronic voting, okay, just even in the National Assembly, where we have 108, 109, yes, you can use it there because they know each other. 400 plus, you can use it there. But for millions, there's no way you can use it. One, there will be internet problem. Network failure will be there. Human error will be there. And a lot of things. Don't forget, all this electronic you are saying, somebody will compute it and put something in it before. And it's baggage in, baggage out. Yeah. So we are not ripe for it. But now, we are not ripe in Nigeria.
Now, yes, let's just go back memory lane now. The BCOS, the IREV, the combination, how effective do you think it had been in improving transparency, yes, during the 2023 elections then? And what gaps still exist? Well, you mentioned some of those points then. So the BCOS, the IREV.
Well, we used them in 2023, and it gave us the result. Even those who contested the result at the various level of tribunal and Supreme Court, they saw that they were able to defend whatever they got in it. So the thing really worked, but there's no system doesn't need improvement. It is INEC that will know where they need to improve on it, because they were the one who use it. So they will need to improve on something which they will know by themselves. But I don't believe there's any problem with it. I don't believe.
Now, politically speaking now, what does electronic transmission provoke? Why does it provoke such strong resistance within the legislature? You mentioned something like that earlier on.
Is it the electronic voting? I don't believe it has any problem within the National Assembly. People has no problem with it. They don't. All they are saying is that they are not compulsory it for INEC. But INEC should look at it. If we are right for it, then we do. So I don't see big deal with it. But our whole major problem in this country is that we are not right for it. Even look at it. When you are doing INEC registration, just INEC registration to register as a voter, at times when you go to INEC office, the machine will not be working. They say they will tell you they don't have light to power it, no electricity to power it. So you'll be running here and there to buy fuel for that registration alone. So our power system, the electricity is not stable. Since the electricity is not stable, INEC has a lot of problems. And electricity is not stable here. Internet is not stable. So the combination of the two is what you need for electronic voting. When they are not stable, what will you do? Couple with human error. In Nigeria of today, in Nigeria, you can't trust anybody. Even if you give them something, they will code that thing in it. Before you know, people will be shouting foul of what happened. So for now, I believe we should just continue with manual collation for now until we get all this internet, solve all this internet problem, solve power problem. If we can solve the two, I know we'll get there one day.
Yes, now, the proposal to hold elections in one day. In one day, elections. In one day, yeah? Yes, all elections. Is it possible?
It's possible if we want to do it. One, you will just be giving 5 ballot paper instead of 3 or 2 that we normally get. Then you turn print. The only difference that will be there is the time of collation. It will take time to collate it. Assuming the president, national senator and rep 3, you now get governor and senator. So before you separate it, it will take more time. That is the truth. But it will reduce cost. It will reduce cost. Because the same people, because if you do it only one in a day, we are going to employ only just one staff. But if it is two, we still have to engage another people for the next. So even if we can do it in one day, it's better. It would save money, and it always say it will save Nigeria from bad wagon effect. The bad wagon effect is this: if you have a president, you've elected somebody as president. Some people will say, let our governor belong to his party, so that our party will gain, so that our party will, our state will not be at opposition. So they will use that one to campaign against the next election. But if it is a day, you have your faith. So it will save cost, and it will give us a better result.
Yes. Now, how does the incumbency advantage, how does it intersect with ambiguity in election laws? Yes, especially regarding result transmission.
I don't know, because I'm not part of the National Assembly member. I don't know. So, I don't know.
But you're a politician.
Yeah, I'm a politician, but I'm not there. I don't know if they talk to them. But like I know, like what I was discussing now, by our people, what I was saying, the senator that I know, we are on the same page like what I was thinking. They were thinking of Nigeria. They are thinking of internet. They are thinking of security. They are thinking of the bad wagon effect if you use it. It's not a matter of whether they are in government. No. Even if they are in government today, they too want to contest tomorrow. But they don't want anything that will give them problem. That is the truth.
Well, yes, I want to ask you this question. Early voting for security, for security personnel, early voting for security personnel and election officials, they sound progressive. And what safeguards are needed to prevent abuse of this provision?
I don't see how they will abuse it. I don't see it. Because they have only one vote. So immediately you vote here, you can't vote in any other place again. But it is, they gave them that opportunity so that they will go and do their job, their official job. So they don't abuse it. They don't, because they can't vote twice. They only vote once.
And yes, do you think election disputes should be, ideally concluded before swearing in, or does this conflict with constitutional timelines? Because I remember sometimes last year when there was a proposal that elections should be held earlier, before May 29 this year, 2027, earlier 2026, before, so that all litigations will have been, will have ended by that time.
Yes, I support it. I support it that we should, do our election at least 6 months before the swearing, so that the first 3 months will be for tribunal. There are another 2 months for appeal. And anyone that wants to go to Supreme Court, the last 1 month, I support it. Because, you see, there are some things, some people will just do all left foot. Like, I'm sorry to make reference to Baba Adedibu. Baba Adedibu will tell you, just do anything you can do. Eba Jibugwe, Eba Arabu. Just do anything and make sure they declare you. Immediately they declare you, it is government money that will be using to prosecute your tribunal. That is the truth. So we ought to have finished the tribunal before swearing in, so that these people will not be using government money. Okay, let me give you an example. It's common among the legislators, maybe state house or honorable or federal. They didn't conclude the tribunal before he or she was sworn in. He will now be there with them. Some people are there for 2 years, and they now remove them. Then that 2 years' salary and the money he has collected, would they collect it back from him? So a lot of former Governor Oyinlola,
yes,
he was there in his second term for 3.5 years.
Just shortly before the end.
You know,
of the
just
tenure.
6 months to the end of the tenure, you remove him. Does that make any sense? He has been there for. So when you say, oh, Governor Ilola in Osun now, some people will say he ruled for 7.5 years. That 3.5 years, he collected the money, collected security allowance, collected everything. Aregbesola came again. He started his 4 years. The state lost everything. It is not the person. So we have to find a way of finishing our tribunal before swearing. That was why this National Assembly, they started it that, they started, you know, and they are still working at it, but I don't know the state they are now, that they want us to have this election by November this year. So if they could do it, and we have the election by November this year, the next 6 months will be for tribunal, and that will give us the best.
So after all the after effects, the swearing will just come up.
So whoever that is sworn in knows there's no litigation. And everybody will know this is our authentic elected officer.
Now, how damaging is the perception that that reforms strengthening transparency are systematically resisted by the political class?
I don't see anyone being resisted by any political class. If the National Assembly do it, everybody will support it. They will support it. If they do it and the president sign, everybody will support it. But you see, like I said earlier, before they pass any reform, they are there. They have to look inward and see how that thing will affect even the country, positive or negative. There are some things you see outside. But when you really scrutinize it, you will see that it is not the way you are looking at it. So there are so many things that they see that we didn't see where we are. So it is not that they are just blocking it. No, they know the effect of it. That's why they don't do it. So they are not blocking.
Well, INEC has warned. Yes, I think it has warned that delays in passing amendments could affect its preparedness. At what point do delays become deliberate sabotage?
What INEC is saying is this. You know, they have to plan whatever they want to do. So you have to give them time. For example, we just said something now, that if you want us to vote in November this year, you can't tell INEC 3 months to that time and say you have to vote this year. You have to tell them at least 6 months so that they will make their own preparation. Look, you know, INEC has to notify political party. It has some days, maybe 30 days or 3 months to notify for. So you just have to tell them whatever you want to do in earnest so that they will be able to plan. That's what they are saying. There are some things that if you later tell them, it may be too late for them. And they won't be able to do it. That's what the INEC is saying. Tell us what you want. Tell us the reform as early as possible so that we can plan towards what you are saying. That's what INEC is saying.
Yes, sir. Now, how do you see education of the electorate by INEC and other, agencies saddled with that responsibility, like the National Orientation Agency, like the Ministry of Information? How do you see their activities towards the 2027 elections?
For now, the National Orientation Agency is not doing what people expected from them. They are saddled with that responsibility, and they've been doing it before. You remember the days of NAMAMSA now?
Yes.
And some other thing like that. But now, I don't know. Maybe they don't fund them again. Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, the federal government didn't fund them again. I don't know. But they are not doing their job. They are the ones that are supposed to be enlightening the masses. They are the ones that are supposed to be enlightening the masses. I don't know, but they are not coming up with it. So INEC too need to be up and doing on this thing too. But the enlightenment level is not enough for now.
Yes, sir, because I know INEC too has a I think Public Affairs and Information Department.
Yeah, their effort is not enough.
Now, if mandatory real-time. Let's go back to the yes. Mandatory real-time electronic transmission is not adopted now. What minimum safeguards should be entrenched to protect the integrity of results? Like you are a backer of the manual,
from
EC8.
You see, there's always security before, and it will continue like that. Security officers are always on the ground at the polling units. And immediately they finish counting, recorded from EC8, everybody signed. The bombs, EC8 and the ballot paper is being moved from polling unit to the ward center, guided by security officers. They do follow them because of hoodoo. They do. But the only thing we can say is that if we think these security officers are not enough, let them provide more.
But some security officers too does compromise at times.
That's what I'm telling you, Nigerian problem. I've said it before, you can't trust anybody in Nigeria. And news, what is that? It's because of our nature. We just have to change. There's somebody that has said, if you want to change your condition, I read it somewhere, if you want to change your condition, you first change your mind. Later, Akuili, Dora Akuili,
from an Afghan boy.
Yeah, she has a slogan, Keneka Nigeria. Maybe something to change Nigeria, but you change yourself first. So if we Nigerians didn't change ourselves, if we didn't change our mind, there's no way Nigeria will change. So within us, there's always bad eggs. So even there's bad eggs within INEC, within the presiding officer, within the security, there are bad eggs. But we only need to work on this thing.
Now, what single reform, legal or institutional, would most significantly improve Nigeria's electoral credibility, especially as the 2027 elections approaches?
There's nothing except transparency. Whatever I want to do, let's be transparent with it. Let everybody see it. If you can't, if INEC want to recruit and they are transparent in it, nobody will complain. On the day election, all the ballot paper, everybody in the unit, they know the ballot paper on ground. After the election, they counted it. Everything is complete. And they are transparent in counting and everything. There wouldn't be a problem. So transparency is the major issue.
Now, how credible are these civil society organizations and opposition that the National Assembly is intentionally saying that the National Assembly is intentionally stalling this process of transmission? Yes, like I read earlier, the Electoral Act OB, civil society organizations, well, they protested, like I said yesterday, how legal, how can I just describe it? Are they really saying the actual facts about these issues?
And like I told you earlier, they may know the fact and decide to play to the gallery.
Yes. And
they may want to seek people's sympathy.
Yes.
So that the people will vote Obi. They may want to do that.
Like we're wanting to dangle a carrot before the people.
So they may look for people's sympathy. They may want to carry people to sympathize with them. They know the truth. Even Obi knows the network is not okay. Even in his Anambra. His network everywhere in Anambra. So they are just playing to the gallery.
Well, now, what role should citizens, the media, and civil society play in resisting democratic backsliding? Yes, and demanding accountable elections?
the media need to play a major role by saying the truth, even to the power that be. In those days, we have investigative journalism.
Yes, we still have now.
But it's not as sound as that as those days. Even there are some stories that you have investigated underground before putting it out. So if our journalists can go back to that, regardless of who is in power, can say the truth, Nigeria will be okay. But there are so many things that even journalists will write without confirming. That's where we are having problems. And now we have so many online reporters
Yes.
that they don't even know the truth. They don't even confirm before they put it out.
Yes.
And that is the major problem now.
They are not professional.
They are not professional. Even those people, having radio station, having television station now, you listen to some, they just be saying rubbish. They are not professionals. They are not professionals. So we have to go back to this level. The professionals need to take over. Before we turn this the media houses into these fake hospitals, we don't have the qualified doctors, we don't have qualified nurses, we just have quack. So we need a lot of job. Please, the media need to come out. They need to save Nigeria by saying the truth, investigating whatever they want to say before putting it. You see, if some people ask me some things at times, I do ask them, hey, where did you get that news? They say online. Which kind of online?
What is the site?
No, somebody that you cannot hold responsible for whatever he or she says.
I will always ask. I will ask which site. Which site did you get this?
So we need to be up and doing. Everybody look up onto the media people to save us by saying the truth.
Now, what role should domestic and international observers, particularly, do you think they are playing their roles as they should? What role do you think, again, that they should play if this electronic transmission remains discretionary?
If you are talking of international
observers, yes, because most times they
can't play any role. Even the international observer that you are saying, when in his own country, did they do e-transmitting? Did they transmit electrically? So what is it now coming to advise us to do what? He's going to observe and write his report. Let him or she observe. If he see any error, let him write it.
Now, well, if mandatory real-time, finally now, mandatory real-time electronic transmission is not adopted now, what minimum safeguards should be entrenched to protect the... Okay, well, I think you delved on that.
Provide more security and make everything transparent.
Yes.
If you make it transparent, for example, in a polling unit, when a presiding officer get to the polling unit, the first job is to address the voters. Tell them the number of polling, the number of ballot paper he or she brings to that place. He will show them, and he would let them see that none of the ballot paper is truncated.
Yes.
You need to show it to them.
Openly.
Tell them the number. Then you start voting. Now, after the voting, you count the number of people that voted. You deduct that number from the ballot paper. You tell the number of the remaining ballot paper. People will be happy. Then you now started sorting it out in their front.
But why do they always say the instruction that people should stay away, at least about some meters away from...
Yeah, you still need to say it. For example, you give them maybe 6 meters or so that they will be looking. If you didn't ask them to give you some distance, you don't know all of them. Somebody, if you allow them to move nearer the box, somebody may just snatch the box. So you just have them to give you space because you don't know all of them. That is the truth. Somebody will just snatch the box, and that will be the end of the of the game.
Yes, sir. I want to thank Honorable Dele Akinleye. He's a political analyst, yes, and well, a politician too. And well, we did not see Dr. Idowu Adewumi, yes, election observer, and I wanted to ask him some questions talking about this observation policy. But well, I think it must be some circumstances beyond his control that made him not to, come up for the program this afternoon. I want to thank Honorable Dele Akinleye for coming on the program.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, it has been Matters Arising on BCOS television, Elia Kedorita Bashono in Ibadan. Yes, we've been talking about electoral reforms, issues on e-transmission, and at least Honorable Dele Akinleye has delved into some issues which I know people will now understand. I want to thank my producer, Yemi Alawo, and assistant producer, Muti Ogunwale, supervising producer, Bumi Oyedemi, and of course, my executive producer, beg your pardon, Dotun Olaiton. Yes, my name is Bimbo Akombi. Thank you very much for joining us on the program Matters Arising. Next week, we'll come your way again with another edition of the program Matters Arising. Enjoy your afternoon.